Also, visit Hammer's Facebook and Instagram for daily deals. If you miss a day, you miss a bargain at Hammer's, Clinton, Sevierville, Wartburg, Hall, and Newcastle.
To Hammers, you should see us now.
Spencer Gilmire moves across the 50. Spencer Gilmire runs over a man at the 40. Made him eat dirt as Spencer Gilmire rumbles into Admiral territory down to the 38-yard line. Hello, Spencer. We'll go to Spencer. He's got running room again. He's across the 30. Spencer Gilmire 20. Spencer Gilmire 15. Spencer Gilmire 13. He carries Admiral down the field. It'll be 1st and 10 Oak Ridge. Side. He's in trouble. He's fumbled the ball. Intercepted by Oak Ridge. Picked off with the 50. Ron Black 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. You did it one too many times, Todd Helton. That one picked off by Black into the end zone. 64-yard run by Ron Black. And Oak Ridge takes the...
That's intercepted! Intercepted! Down the sideline! He's at the 35! He's at the 40! The Wildcats! Dallas sprint! And that might do it!
Welcome in to Crunch Time with Coach Derek Rang. As you can see, I am not David Clary. He's out of town, so I'm filling in, and we were supposed to be at Pizza Inn tonight, but unfortunately we had some sickness with our crew, so to keep everyone safe and to make things easier, we're back in studio. So hopefully everybody got the message, and to my knowledge, we'll be back at Pizza Inn next week, and I think with David Clary, and everything should be back to normal. But first off, Coach, hope the week's gone well. I know you're halfway through your week of practice. I guess actually you're kind of 3/4 of the way through the practice week. How's it been this week?
Been good. Obviously got Dobbins Bennett coming to town Friday, so back on the schedule. Alex got DB back on the schedule at Blankenship, so I think both communities obviously traditionally have been excited about it. You get more and more, I think, text messages and just interest whenever you play a traditional rival like we have it up. With Oak Ridge and DB. So I think big week for our team, and whenever we were doing the non-region schedule again, that was one of the points of emphasis, was to obviously get Clinton on the schedule and get DB on the schedule. So both of those teams have appeared as non-region games, and both are obviously within the first 4 weeks of the season. So we're excited about that, and we're ready to go.
We got an exciting show. We've got Tim Walters, Torrey Holt, a couple of an offense and defensive linemen. Tim Walters, we've seen him play basically fullback at times. So both these guys have played a lot of football for you, and thankfully got a lot more to go here as seniors. So we're going to talk to them later on in the show. Obviously, we're going to preview Dobbins Bennett. Everyone's excited about that game. There's it's one of those weeks like Clinton where there's just a little bit of different buzz in the air. The weather's turning, and it's really starting to feel like football. But before we get onto that, we're going to revisit last week's highlights. A 56-6 victory over in the French Commonwealth of Lenoir City.
There's
cool
Adam Washington's weekly cameo in the pregame stretch line. So.
You got to have it. Now, I wasn't here last week. I watched a little bit when I could. I was out of town. But
number one, we started out really, really fast against them. Wayne Gibson here with a nice little interception to get us going. That was, I believe, their first offensive series. So I can't recall if we deferred or not, but they got the ball first. They threw a pick. We had to change our defense up. They're in a single wing, wishbone offense, and obviously get a great start to the game. Here you were on offense. You got Stansberry here going to throw a little screen out to Presley. Malik Howard, Jarrell Jimerson do a great job blocking. Will just does the rest. So quick start for the Cats at 7-0 here. And the interception set up a short field. And I think that was one of our points of emphasis this week, Alex, was to kind of start fast. And we did that. Yeah,
you certainly did. I turned in right at the beginning of the game. I tuned in again at halftime, and I think it was like 42-0. And I was just like, well, that happened quickly.
Yeah, it was. We ran, I think it was 31 plays of offense the entire game. And whenever you have explosive plays, obviously the score can kind of get out of hand pretty quick, and it did. But, Eli Pearson with the PAT field goal, and then I thought it was really, really impressive to watch his kickoffs. Anytime you're kicking the ball through the back of the end zone, that's quite impressive. So there's Amonte Bishop. He's been a really good player for us all season there, stringing out the reverse. So as you see, we're doing a good job here of loading the box. Got basically 10 guys up there to stop the run with a free safety just kind of floating back about 10 yards off the ball. And Lenoir City, just never could get anything going on offense. They really couldn't block us up front. Host of Wildcats in on the play right there. We're back on offense now, and there's Stansberry to Howard. So we got a little RPO action, so Blaine feels like he's got space right there. So as you see, we fake the run, and Malik does a nice job of, number one, catching the ball, and then number two, getting upfield. So again, the nice fake. You see the ball come out quick right there. And one thing with Lenoir City, as you see, a little bit smaller football team, we do have some bigger skill position players, and it took multiple players to get the guys down. As you see here with Presley, he just kind of we call this a comeback route, which is you just run about 12 yards and then work to the sideline, and it's a very safe throw. Generally the ball is either caught or incomplete, and then Will actually does a nice job right here instead of going out of bounds, he just kind of leverages back in towards the field and cuts grain right there. So
I like how casually he's trying to run away from defenders, and he's just adjusting his helmet on the way down, and he's got that kind of speed where he can be a little more casual.
Well, when you're a 4.40 type player like Will is, whenever he gets going with some great linear speed, then you kind of cut grain right there, adjust the helmet, and there was really no threat there from the Panthers. And it's 14-0. There's big Tajay Walters there. Tim, going to see him here in a second. They really had a hard time blocking him, of course. And it was good, obviously, when you have a dominant interior defensive lineman. It definitely makes running the ball a little bit more difficult. And I like this play right here by Jarrell Jimerson. He goes up and high points the ball. We told those corners all week, Alex, hey, if you get a pass, just sink, just drift, read the eyes of the quarterback, because, when you're a run-first offense, they're not super efficient in terms of their look-offs or, throwing the ball down the field.
And that's over the past, whether that's Jeremy Mitchell, whether that's Ted Mitchell, that drill that the cornerbacks and defensive backs do every game before the start, where you toss it up and you're backpedaling, it pays off.
Yeah. And we got Demillion Porter going here with the screen, and we have to do a great job of not getting penalties on these plays. So as you see, we're just going to kind of float the ball out. We got a good job there, and that may have been Nate Stevens blocking downfield. Trying to find Bill 50. I got Torrey Holt in studio tonight, so I know he was doing some nice blocking at, right guard. There on the pass to Malik. And this was a really, really nice catch. We have a good angle of it right here at the end zone view. Same deal, Alex, like you said, high point the ball. When you're a big player, don't make yourself small. Go up and get it. And as you see, we fake. There's the throw. There's the catch. And, right now it's 21-0. And obviously don't like the penalty. Malik had to see me after practice yesterday. But Amonte Bishop, Tyree Porter, Caden Stewart, Wayne Gibson, Jeremiah Strickland playing some defense. King Sandoval was in there. Alex, we're playing a lot of guys on defense in games. I mean, I know you've seen that, but got a good little rotation going. We got a bunch of guys getting some snaps. And here's Mill Porter. I think this one actually counted for Mill. But again, as you see, he splits the defensive backs. And he does a good job of, I like at the very end there, he just kind of lowers his shoulder. So even if the guy kind of goes in there and tries to, club him low, he can still kind of lean into the end zone.
Yeah, he's just got really good, I guess you call it a forward lean. His balance, he even when he gets hit, even if it's in the backfield, which is rare with the offensive line you guys have,
yeah.
But he's always falling forward. He doesn't run backwards, doesn't dance around a lot.
Yeah, he's got some really, really good instincts. I guess I would use the word instincts there. When you're playing running back, I mean, you kind of have to just, survey it out. And a very instinctual player. I think that's a kind of a nice word there to use to describe him. Patient, yeah. Caden Stewart there. Looks like we got Nate Stevens playing some defensive line for us. Dom Vasquez in there. Quavez Williams was playing. So.
Looked like Blake. Is it Blake Woody?
Yeah, Blake Woody's now stepped in for JT Gormley, who's out with an injury. Hopefully we can get JT back here pretty quickly. Coming off a dislocated elbow against Halls, he's started some therapy and, just praying he can kind of get that thing back. I know how much he loves playing football and just know how much he's devastated to have to watch. I mean, there's Big Tim again clogging it up and King Sandoval coming in. Like I said, we'll be tested Friday with DB. I'm sure we'll talk about them later, but like the way our defense is playing, we're just kind of playing with some edge. There's Jarrell Jimerson. We're kind of spreading the ball around. You get in a game like this, you want to get, all your guys kind of some touches. Just, I know the game was obviously super easy. And as your background, 28-0 second quarter. Mill does a good job there blocking number 8 on the blitz. And Blaine does a good job of throwing Jarrell open. And we're in business again in Panther territory. I mean, this is kind of sloppy. We had a bad snap, but we throw a little screen to Malik. And, would like to have him explode through the end zone there. He about got hurt, because he slowed down a little bit. But great play. Watch this. So we're going to throw a little screen. They rush up. They were blitzing a lot, Alex. So here he goes. He makes the cut right there. And does a great job there getting the ball tucked. And I'm just, got the horse collar penalty too. So,
not a lot of guys that big that are running away from DBs. Yeah,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's nice when you kind of have that luxury item. And, this ball shouldn't have been thrown that far. We want the quarterback to catch the ball, settle, and then get depth and kind of fade away. Kind of like a dump it off. I know you like that term, fade away, being a basketball guy. But kind of just fade away on it. And but it worked out. Oh, my goodness. I know he's in studio right now, but how does that guy tackle him? Tim, how do you get tackled by that guy right there? Come on now. But you got Tajay Walters with the fumble recovery, and he just kind of stripped the ball, and there he went. And he's obviously played in some offensive backfield for us on Jumbo. So, okay, we're going to throw a little bubble to Jarrell Jimerson, and he does a nice job of making the cut and getting the guy to kind of, fall down a little bit. So there's that little quick throw, one cut right there. He gets 21 kind of off balance. And I think at this point, we're just hoping there's no storms. The rumor was there may have been some storms coming in, but Eli Pearson.
Boy, it's good to have him back, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You feel like he's kind of gotten over his little quad issue that kind of hampered us in the Halls game. Same deal, at this point we're just kind of teeing off on them. They really. That's why ever since I've been a coach, I've always wanted to run an offense that you can run the ball and throw the ball successfully.
Yeah.
Because if you pigeonhole yourself into one style of football and you get down 21-0, like when that team got down 21-0, they knew they really couldn't come back because, you're not going to, break 80-yard runs against us, and then by the time you drive the ball down the field, then the time would run out. So Nate Stevens, there's Liam Gerber there, kind of breaking down along with Nate Stevens sniffing out a fake punt. That was obviously a big play. And Kipton Fagan there, Amarion Willis with the seam route. We really didn't want to call our punt team out there like in that situation, so we just decided to go for it. LaDainian Pendergrass with a nice little run there. We've made some offensive substitutions, and a lot of guys getting some Friday night action. I know Miss Thompson was busy with her participation chart, keeping up with that. And there's LaDainian Pendergrass again, weaving his way through the Panther defense for a touchdown.
There's Dallin James. I see him in there.
Yeah, Dallin James in there. Dallin kind of had obviously coming off a foot injury from the preseason. So we're excited to have Dallin out for football and kind of working him, healthy and everything to where he kind of has some more mobility. That may have been Kyler Sachs with the point after touchdown. Snap, Gage Pellegrin. I believe Adam was still holding on the kick. And Dylan Woody. As you see, we do a great job covering the kick. That may have been Eli again. I can't remember if that was Eli.
Yeah, I think that was Eli.
But again, that's fine. Eli kind of gave us a high kick that was down at the one, let those guys run down and cover. And there's Dylan Woody, obviously sophomore safety, excited about him. Okay, we're back. There's LaDainian Pendergrass. Again, we're just trying to run the football here, run offense. As you see, 49-6 here in the fourth quarter. There's, like I said, quite a few. Kipton Fagan with a nice pull. And
he's got some speed.
He does. I mean, Kipton's a good baseball player for the Coach Free there. And, he's done, I feel like, a great job of just, enjoying practice, kind of running. I guess, sometimes we don't use the word scout team. To me, it's in a positive way because you're getting reps. You're running the other team's offense. And, when he's kind of running DB's offense, they're kind of multiple formation, do some quarterback run stuff. He does a great job giving us that look. Zakai Booth here with the run. One thing I think we're seeing still good fundamentals. We're obviously getting some younger players in the football game. And so this is nice design. So as you see, the defensive end squeezes. We'd use the word squeeze. He turns his shoulders. So on the mesh, 57, there he goes. We pull it. And we do a good job there downfield blocking at receiver. And Kipton does a good job there getting in the end zone. So, 56 here. I believe it's 56-6. Trying to see here who kicked this one. So we got Gavin Ellison with the PAT field goal. Coach Kelly does a great job here with Eli, Kyler Sachs, and Gavin, 3 kickers in the program.
Yeah, I don't ever know that I've seen a third kicker go out there, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, at one point we had 4 or 5 kickers, and in Oak Ridge, traditionally, Alex, there's kind of been known for producing some pretty good kickers and punters throughout the years. So, short game. We ended up, starting the game at 7. I think at 9 o'clock the game was about over. So, like I said, big non-region win against Lenoir City. A little bit different ball game than last year's game whenever it went down to the wire, 17-7. We know they've kind of gone through some coaching changes. And I think when you look at Coach, I believe it's Coach Coleman. When you look at, I think Billy Coleman, 5th coach in 5 years. So when you have that, I think sometimes it's hard for kids and communities to trust coaching. So I think he's in a rebuild situation and expect them to be a lot better here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, Tyler Jarnigan is their defense coordinator, and if that name sounds familiar, he graduated in 2012. He played at Oak Ridge, and he was on staff. I don't think he ever coached for you, did he?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, I think he followed Coach Cummings to Lenoir City, and then he stuck around through some of the changes. So he's actually their defensive coordinator now. So we wish them the best, but obviously, Coach, glad to see the Wildcats dominant once again. 3-0 on the season. Want to talk about a couple quick things on that game and kind of recapping, and then if you're just tuning in, we'll talk to offensive lineman Torrey Holt and defensive lineman Tim Walters in a moment. One of the things, you saw so many passes going for touchdowns. I saw one of the most eye-popping stat lines I've ever seen for a quarterback at any level, which was, and I've played a lot of video games in my days, Coach, but I don't know if I've ever seen something quite like this. I believe it was 8 for 8. Blaine was 8 for 8 with 5 touchdowns. And so you're looking at it more than every other play. He's averaging over a touchdown at less than 2 passes, doesn't miss a pass, and then not only that, he's averaging, what I think is that like 36.5, something like that, yards per throw.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those stat lines. The year back in 2016 when I was a head coach at Dresden High School, we won a state championship, and fortunate enough to have the quarterback on that team, Dresser Wynn, ended up just getting cut by the Rams. He started the last preseason game for Sean McVay, believe it or not. So we had a game one year out there when that group was seniors. We had a good group of kids we had worked really hard with, and we kind of ran a fun spread offense. And I think he went 10 for 10 for 330 and 5 touchdowns in the game. So Blaine was kind of, when I saw that stat line, we were in Lenoir City's. They actually had us change in the gym. They had half the gym had like a tarp on it, so there was all kinds of room to spread out. And I kind of saw the stats Mark provided us, and I was like, wow. 8 for 8, 292, 5 touchdowns. That's pretty low quarterback rating right there.
Yeah, and one other thing I mentioned, we talked about it, David and I have on the broadcast, Mike Sheehan as well, is how impressive. Obviously, your receivers are talented. They're fast. They're athletic. They make a lot of plays. But I think the most impressive thing that's so understated, and I think this is something that's been true throughout your entire career here, is that they're incredible blockers. And it's not just that they're good at it, but they play with what looks to be a joy for blocking. They seem to enjoy doing that, and Will gets a lot of stats for big, long touchdown catches, but then you saw in a couple of Jarrell's and Malik's, he's downfield blocking as well. Adam Washington, one of the better blocking receivers around. I mean, Jarrell, all these guys put so much effort into blocking, whether that's run blocking or blocking downfield after there's a catch. I think that's admirable.
Yeah, and I think one thing with the style of offense we do, we kind of spread the ball around a little bit, so it's not like we have one person, getting 13 catches a game and then everybody else is kind of having to block. So, we're all trying to complement each other. I feel like we're trying to distribute the ball around a little bit and to kind of get everybody involved and then keep everybody involved in the game. And, that's one area I think we've really emphasized, is perimeter blocking. We've done our, space jam drills, which is what we call it in practice, to where the receivers are blocking DBs and the defense has to. Because offense, your goal is to stay on blocks. On defense, your goal is to block, destruct, or get off blocks. So it's kind of funny how the different, the drill goes as far as some guys trying to block, some guys trying to get off blocks. But just a testament, I think, to those guys and the way they've worked and just their experience. I mean, they know how to block and know how to fit it up.
And the last thing before we move on is just the crowd shots. Again, unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but watching on the highlights, it almost looked like Oak Ridge had a bigger fan section, a bigger crowd than Lenoir City. How did you think the fans traveled? What was the environment like?
Well, I mean, I know, obviously when you're winning, you're going to have more interest. And that's the reason why the game was scheduled. It was kind of funny. Back when we had the schedule, like I said, I was trying to get DB Clinton hammered out right away, so that gave us 2 spots to fill. And Coach Cummings was still at Lenoir City, and he said, hey, our region is all the McMinn Chattanooga schools. Like those schools, like when Saudi goes to Lenoir, they're not going to bring a gate. So he wanted to find games that were local that would bring a gate. And I was like, well, Oak Ridge, we'd bring a gate. We both had week 3 open. It made sense. And the fans, like I said, our fans packed it out, and we knew they would. And that's kind of why the game was, basically proximity was why the game was scheduled. Because at that point, we had it's funny how our regions changed a little bit, but with us going to 6A, we knew the 6A region schedule was going to be Murderer's Row. But, and that's when, so, I mean, my goal was to schedule traditional games or proximity games, and that's kind of how Halls and Lenoir City kind of, I guess, appeared on the non-region schedule.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. I'll let you take a little bit of a break here. We're going to talk to senior lineman Torrey Holt and Tim Walters. Coming up next, we'll talk about their careers. We'll talk about their seasons thus far, what they're looking forward to this week, and just talk a little bit and get to know them a little bit better. Again, Tim Walters and Torrey Holt coming up right after this break.
Fox Insurance Group is a local agency. We've got a great staff. We're knowledgeable. The most rewarding thing about working in insurance is taking care of customers. When they come in, a lot of times they don't know what coverages they need. They're relying on us to give them the right coverage that's going to fit their needs, but also at a competitive price. Anybody can go to any agent or they can call any 1-800 number. But getting that right agent that's going to take care of them and be there in time of need, and that's what we're here to do.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
ugh, come on, seriously? This is so extra.
But what you could say is,
like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your local State Farm agents are available to help you online, over the phone, or in person. State Farm agents are here to help answer your questions and help you file your claim.
This is so extra.
Get with someone who can actually help. Contact me, Agent Laura Lynn Green, today.
Welcome back to Crunch Time with Coach Derek Rang. We appreciate you tuning in as we get ready for a couple interviews. I'll remind you, we're not at Pizza Inn this week. Unfortunately, we had some illness going around the Prep Radio crew, and so we're not able to be there in person. We want to make sure everybody's safe. Well, we want to wish Mark and Shauna, who helped set everything up there, and they do so much behind the scenes. We want to wish them well. We can't wait to see them on Friday night. David Clary will be back with you guys next week as well at the Pizza Inn. So if you missed out on the pizza tonight, go support them, and hopefully we'll see you there next Wednesday night as well. In the meantime, Coach Rang has stepped aside, and now I have the pleasure of introducing a couple of seniors for the Wildcats, Torrey Holt and Tim Walters. As you see there, Torrey on the left, Tim on the right. Tim, I know I've talked to you a bunch after games, and I've seen you on these shows before. Torrey, I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you quite as much, but it looks like Big Tim has the microphone, so we'll start with him. I'm going to ask you some different questions, and I'll ask both of you kind of some same questions. We'll start off with an easy one. Just tell me what position you play for folks that may not know, and how long you've been a starter for the Wildcats.
I play defensive lineman, and I've been a starter for 4 years.
And are you a Robertsville kid or Jefferson?
Jefferson.
Okay, what about you, Torrey?
I play offensive line.
All right, and how many years have you been a starter? One. This is your first year?
Yes,
and you Robertsville or Jefferson?
Jefferson.
Jefferson, okay. So we got some Rams, we got some Eagles. David Clary always hates when I do this, but I'll say a go Rams because, can't forget where you came from right now. Okay, so Torrey, you got the mic now. I want to know a little bit about your journey. So did you grow up playing football in the area? Is this something you've taken up lately? What has football meant to you growing up around here? And then tell me just kind of about your journey. Obviously, you've had to wait a little bit longer, but just tell me what it means playing for this program.
It means a lot. I've grown up here my whole life. I've been playing football since I was 7. So, yeah, I'm playing for Oak Ridge since I was 7. Right, yeah.
And when you were younger, did you play line as well? Has this kind of been always your position, or tell me, how did it start?
No, I played quarterback.
You played quarterback.
Yes.
Coach Rang, you can't hear, he's not on the mic, but Coach Rang, did you know that? And if so, Torrey, have you told him maybe give you a couple snaps back there, give Blaine a breather?
Yeah, like running back, That's all I used to do, though. I used to run the ball. Well, I passed like a couple times.
Tim, what about you? I know you've been playing a while. I remember watching you get significant playing time as a freshman several years back. But where did your football journey start?
I started playing football whenever I was 4 for Oak Ridge, West Side. Whenever it was West and East Side, West Side. But yeah, I always been a lineman. Wanted to run the ball, like coach wouldn't let me though. But I did get a touchdown in the Little League off a fumble. I'm trying to get one this year too.
Well, Coach Rang was kind of jiving you a minute ago because it looked like you had a shot to do that, but it looks like I think it was a quarterback that tackled you. So he's saying cheap tackle in the background. It sounds like well, okay, well, yeah, so I was going to ask you about that. You talked about wanting to be able to get the ball in your hands, and unlike most linemen, I'm not joking when I say you've gotten some opportunities. I think there's been some pass plays in the playbook in the past. I know that you go out there and actually will block as well on a lot of those kind of jumbo packages, 4th and short, goal line situations. A lot of times you'll see big number 14 come in the game. That's the defensive lineman, Tim Walters. Talk to me about the offensive side of the ball. Is that exciting to you? Is there a chance maybe we could see you get in the end zone again this year?
I mean, it's definitely a chance. I'd say that. But going back there and blocking, I love it because, like, I'm the lead blocker on the play almost every time. And having Mill or whoever the running back is running behind me opening that hole for them to score, I just love it. Or getting the first down, I love it. So,
tell me the difference. I've always heard, there's a different mentality it takes to be a defensive lineman, even at the college and pro level, than it does to be an offensive lineman. It's just two different kind of mindsets and mentalities. But for someone who's going from primarily being a defensive lineman, a standout one at that, to then coming back on the offensive side, and now it's your turn to block, do you take that extra aggression with you? Do you think that helps you, or do you even notice any difference?
I mean, it definitely helps. I don't really notice a difference. I just hit the person in front of me every time. I'm trying to knock their head off every time. Ever since I was a little kid, that's what my mama told me.
And before I go back to Torrey, because I want to kind of piggyback on something, I'll ask you, do you talk to Mill or to Blaine and any of these guys at practice when you guys are working on that? Do they like when you get to come out there? Do they get a little extra juice when they see you coming on the field?
Yeah. Mill definitely loves it. He always get hyped. He tells me every single day I'm supposed to be in the offensive meeting with him. He definitely loves it.
Let's go over to Tori now. Tori, you're someone that does play on the offensive line. I think that's kind of one of the best kept secrets. It's not a secret to your staff or to most Wildcat fans, but the casual viewer turns on the TV and they see the stats that we're talking about with Blaine. They see Mill getting shout-outs on 5-star preps and this and that, and they see all these guys, Malik and Will, with the offers. But I think one of the best parts about this team is how good this offensive line has played so far. And all those highlights, I didn't see a single quarterback pressure. And obviously, I'm sure you know, without you guys, 5 guys up front doing their job, then nobody else is getting stats. So just tell me what it's like being an offensive lineman.
It's very fun, actually. Like, when you get pancake, everybody, like, celebrates when you get to the sideline. What else?
Well, I guess when I used to play, I was, as you can kind of tell by my rally frame, I was never a lineman. But I've always kind of wondered, how do you find that joy? Because like in basketball or another sport, you know, maybe you don't score points, but maybe you can be a lockdown defender, maybe you can block shots. In football, as a lineman, some people might say, well, I don't know if I want my kid to play if they're not going to touch the ball. You know, I don't know if that's going to be any fun. You said that it's a lot of fun. So how do you find that joy? And a guy like Jared Bafford that's on the line, Elijah, you guys not only seem to do a good job, but you guys seem to be really emotional and really into it. So where does that fun come into? And just talk to me about that.
Like being a lead blocker, like when you pull, you pancake him, knock his head off. That's what my mom would say.
I don't know if mom's ever told me to take anybody's head off, but I think for offensive linemen, that's a good mentality. So you talked about pulling. Do you, when you line up, whether it's pulling or whether you're just going straight ahead, do you like seeing a big guy in that challenge, or do you relish in the opportunity every now and then, if you can get to that second level, seeing a much smaller guy and saying, here's my chance to really blow him up? What do you like?
I like the bigger guy. He's kind of easy. They're taller than me. Well, at least Tim, not Tim.
I don't think you want to block Tim. All right, let's go back to Tim now. Tim, obviously, you're a guy that has been recruited for a while now. You've got a chance to play at the next level. I've seen some stuff online about some offers and some visits you've taken. It's still pretty early in the season, but what are your plans, or where are you kind of at in that process for people that may be curious as far as maybe playing at the next level?
Mostly it's me just trying to like take the visits and just see what's right for me for my future, like where I can strive at, where I can be the best version of me, and also get better at, like, them 4 or 5 years I'm there, get better at. So I'm just trying to figure out that right place for me right now.
And I'm not asking you to pick any favorites, but can you name just a few places that are showing interest, or maybe that have offered, or that you've been on visits to?
Eastern Kentucky, Austin P. I'm taking a visit up there soon. ETSU, and also Wofford.
Okay. We'll go back to Tori now. You were about a third of the way through the season. You still got several home games left, thank goodness. But has it started to hit you yet that, hey, this is kind of my last shot this season? And I know obviously you guys want to make a state run and you guys want to make the most of it, but when you're coming down the steps this year, being your senior year versus, you know, a year or two ago, can you feel a difference? Do you kind of soak that in a little bit more?
Yeah, it's a definitely energy change when I come down the steps senior year.
What's your favorite part about playing at Blankenship?
The atmosphere. I love it. The band playing while we out there.
The band playing? Okay. Tim, what about you? I know you've played a lot of football for Oak Ridge as well, but walking down the steps for the 4th year now, does it ever get old? And after you answer that, I want to know is like I asked Tori, is there any difference this year? Can you feel anything different? Do you kind of soak it in a little bit differently?
The steps, that don't get old, man. I still get the chills walking down them like every single game. Like the first game I ever had, on the high school team, like, got chills and still get the same type of chills walking down the steps with the fans, like little kids giving you high fives and stuff. Still.
What does it mean to you when you step out on Blankenship Field? I know both of you guys said you've been playing since you were less than 10 years old, I'm guessing down at the Boys and Girls Club, and wearing the cardinal and gray, going up through middle school, but then finally getting to that dream which you played all those years for, getting to wear that uniform, now knowing that other kids in this community are now looking up to you, is that something you guys realize? And if so, what is that like?
I mean, it's definitely surreal because little kids ask me like come to their games now, come to their practice, like, and I enjoy it, like, cause I love the kids, like, and also like stepping on the field, like as a senior, every time I just like every game go out there like before all the warm-ups, sometimes the first player on the field, just trying to soak it all in, just like, cause this is my last season as Oak Ridge Wildcat, and it's been a great ride and can't wait for the rest of the games. We still got a long season to go.
All right, Tori, I'll go to you, and then I'll come back to Tim to wrap it up. If there's anything that fans should know about you that maybe we wouldn't, what would that be? What might surprise us about Tori Holt? It could be football related. It could be totally something else.
Really nothing. Well,
like maybe what's something outside of football that you really like that most people, if they just come in Friday nights and watch you play, that maybe they wouldn't know about you?
Welding.
What's that?
Welding.
Welding? Okay, is that what you're trying to do after school? Okay, that's a very good profession. All right, Tim. Well, Tori, real quick, sorry, one more time. Any shout-outs, anything you want to say to teammates, family, friends, anything?
I'll shout out my mom, my dad, and Adam Washington.
Adam's always getting love. He's always getting shout-outs. Tim, what about you, man? What's one thing that maybe people might not know about you?
I'm a really good pickleball player. Like,
oh, wow.
Very good.
You're right. I would not have known that. Okay, and then lastly, you have any shout-outs that you would want to give?
Yeah, Coach Kelly, twin, Adam Washington, and my mom.
And Adam Washington, another one. Well, guys, thank you so much. One more time, left to right, that's Tori Holt and Tim Walters. We appreciate you guys joining, and I'm sure I speak for both of them when they say that they'll hope to see you guys out at Blankenship Field as we prepare to take on the Dobyns-Bennett Indians this Friday night, a home game at 7 o'clock. Stay with us. We got a quick break. When we come back, Coach Derek Rang will be back up here, and we'll preview Dobyns-Bennett and see what the Wildcats are up against here in just a couple days.
Insurance Group is a local agency. We've got a great staff. We're knowledgeable. The most rewarding thing about working in insurance is taking care of customers. When they come in, a lot of times they don't know what coverages they need. They're relying on us to give them the right coverage that's going to fit their needs, but also at a competitive price. Anybody can go to any agent or they can call any 1-800 number. But getting that right agent that's going to take care of them and be there in time of need, and that's what we're here to do.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
Ugh, come on, seriously? This is so extra.
But what you could say is,
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your local State Farm agents are available to help you online, over the phone, or in person. State Farm agents are here to help answer your questions and help you file your claim.
This is so extra.
Get with someone who can actually help. Contact me, Agent Laura Lynn Green, today.
Welcome back to the field here at Lenoir City. Joining me is the quarterback of the Wildcats, 292 yards passing in the first half. The school record is yours. You needed 66, but I know as a quarterback you wanted to see Kipton get some playing time. Talk about the team's performance. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted to tonight. Blaine Stansbury with us.
You know, our goal was to come out fast, and that's exactly what we did. So it was nice even on low passes that we were able to score, and our skills guys just did whatever they really wanted to. And so it's just nice to sit back there and get it to them.
When you saw them on film, did you think you'd be able to score as easily? I mean, very seldom did they even stop you. Maybe 3 times the entire first half.
You know, we knew we'd be able to score, but we also knew we had to execute, and that was the main thing, and we needed to execute and do it fast, so that's what we were able to do.
Did you want to break your own record?
Well, I wanted to. I knew I was 1 touchdown away from the touchdown record also, but I'll try and get it throughout the season.
Well, you're 3-0 now, but you're going to play Kingsport Dobyns-Bennett next week. It's a little bit tougher next week.
Yes, sir. It's a big game, but I know we're all up for the challenge, so we'll be ready to compete.
It's your first time, I guess, or your sophomore year, I guess.
Against DB?
Yeah.
Freshman year we went to DB, so this will be my first time playing against him.
Well, Blaine, good luck. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just try to come out strong and just come out with this mentality to just destroy them. We knew that we were superior, so, but it was I don't want to be mean, but it was a boring ball game.
Well, it's kind of hard to be boring. Well, I guess it's 42-0 at half. Did you think that it would be? Well, I mean, Blaine had his way. Anytime he threw the ball, it was caught. I think it was 8 for 8, 292 yards. You're on the defensive side of things, but I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is the worst blowout I've seen since Hawaii, and I mean, we just played amazing today and came out strong, and yeah, Blaine did amazing too.
You're playing for the injured JT Gormley. I know you had to step in his shoes. I know it's hard to step in his shoes, but how do you think you've progressed, and are you more comfortable with it now?
I mean, last week, my first half, I was very nervous, obviously, first starting. But, I mean, I got to give all the credit to JT. He's been there every day and just helping me coach down. And he's on the sidelines every time, and he just comes up to talk to me and just tell me what I'm doing wrong and how I can improve.
I know you're not from here, but Dobbins Bennett's a big name in high school football, the second winningest program in the state of Tennessee. Are you excited about hosting them at Blankenship Field?
Yes, sir. We're ready to just get this game going and ready to roll.
Thanks a lot, Blake.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Kipton, I know you completed your first pass, and it went for a while, a few yards, and then you scored a touchdown. How did that make you feel?
It was great first time getting on a varsity game. Felt amazing.
Did you call your own number there, or what was the call? Because you ran one time, and I thought you were going to score the first time, and then the second time you scored the touchdown, the last touchdown. Talk about those two runs.
It's really just a read for me. It's meant for the running back, and then I read the play, and if the gap's open for me, then I can run it myself.
You are the primary quarterback on the junior varsity freshman. You're 2-0 on both. Now 3-0. Talk about your progression as a quarterback from last year to this year.
I would say I've improved a lot, especially like with arm strength and everything, and a bunch of accuracy. Improved a lot on accuracy.
Were you surprised at the score? I mean, it was 42-0 at the half.
When we came out, we knew their last game was a blowout, but we still came out here and we knew we would probably win, but it was a blowout.
What are your strengths as a quarterback?
I'd probably say my accuracy and then being able on my feet too.
You came from Texas. I know you've lived here the last, 2 or 3 years, I guess. So you played Dobbins Bennett. Do you know much about them?
No, sir, but I can't wait. I hear it's just like, as Coach Rang said in the huddle, big tradition game, and we're ready.
The second winningest program in the state of Tennessee with over 800 wins. Always bring a big crowd. Are you excited? And talk about just this team's win today.
Yes, sir. It was great. And then great team win, as you said, and can't wait for the next.
Captain, I appreciate it, and good luck next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Here's the plays of the week, Coach.
Nice little Eli Pearson close-up. Block of the week, Nate Stevens. So, as you see there, Nate, he gets his hands inside number 8 and then moves his feet. So, nice job by Nate right there, blocking on a screen. When offensive linemen get in space, sometimes that can be challenging. So, Malik Howard, offensive play of the week. Anytime you throw a little screen to a tight end. So, he catches the screen. He weaves in and out of the Lenoir City defenders. And goes, I don't know what the yardage was on that. Maybe 58 yards for a touchdown. Defensive play of the week, Wayne Gibson. Here we go. We got a pass that is going to be, quarterback rolls out to the left, gets some pressure, and Wayne goes up there and gets the ball in the air, intercepts the ball, does a nice job reversing field, following his blockers, and unfortunately gets tied up by an offensive lineman, but does a great job of getting us the ball to start. And the special teams play of the week, Eli Pearson. I think if know exactly what I'm here with this kick, and multiple kickoffs went through the back of the end zone. And I feel like, with the extra point right here, this thing was almost over the field house. Mill Porter, run of the week, we watched this in film study, did a good job of the entry-level run and really splitting two defenders. Catch of the week, there's Malik Howard. The defensive back kind of gets out of position a little bit, and Malik does a great job of going to high point the ball. And the play of the week, we have Will Presley. This is catching the comeback route. Nice throw by Blaine, throws him to the sideline. And as you see, I call this cut and grain, is when you just kind of go back across the field and, the momentum of the defense takes them one way, you cut against that, and we see a nice play right there to cap off the plays of the week.
Coach, this is crunch time. I know I'm playing substitute teacher today, so our timing is a little off, but we got about 7 minutes here, so we're quickly getting to Dobbins Bennett. I know that's a game that's highly anticipated every time. It doesn't matter the records, but they're 3-0, I believe. Is that correct?
They are. They're 3-0. They played. It's kind of funny, Alex. They're in the 5-team region in 6A, so they've played Knox Central in a lightning delay, so they probably finished that game around midnight. And then you got to drive all the way back to Kingsport. So I'm sure that was I've been a part of those nights before. They're not very fun. They played Asheville, North Carolina, Asheville High School out northwestern North Carolina. They played Gate City, Virginia. They played 3 teams in 3 different states.
Wow.
So they played a Tennessee team, Virginia team, North Carolina team. They are 3-0. I think when you see DB Friday night, what our fans are going to see, a big offensive line. So they have a big offensive line. They do a really, really good job, I think, of run blocking at the point of attack. They have used 2 or 3 different running backs they use in their run game packages. They also can throw the ball. I like the quarterback. He's a pretty savvy player. Defensively, they're kind of, I guess, defensively kind of what everybody is but us. I mean, they're going to play odd front and walk the weak side linebacker up to make it a 4-man front. Kind of have that hybrid player. I guess Alabama used to call him a jack linebacker, which is kind of the deal. I think Coach Christian likes his secondary, and I think they've had to replace some players in the defensive box. But they're still good. I mean, they got good bodies up there. Special teams, they do a good job with that. There's really not a decided, special teams advantage, I think, for either team. I think their kicker will kick the ball in the end zone every time, so will ours. They kind of use the same punt formation we do. I mean, both teams haven't punted much. And, their style's a little bit different, but I think special teams will be a wash, so it kind of comes down to which offense and defense can make the most plays.
I know you talked about their quarterback. What other playmakers do we need to watch out for?
Yeah, quarterback savvy. I would use the word savvy because when our fans see the quarterback, he's not very big. I think he's like 5'10", 158 pounds, whatever. But he just runs the offense, and it's like, they want to be a ball control, run the ball from the gun offense with some RPOs sprinkled in. And the quarterback just finds a way to make plays. Like, it'll be 3rd and 6, and he'll throw a 7-yard pass. I mean, it'll be 3rd and 3, and he's going to pull it and run for 6. So, they're like a methodical, drive the ball down the field offense. And he's just a savvy player, and they have their shots sprinkled in. So it's going to be a good football game for sure.
So maybe not quite, at least on paper, the big plays, maybe like you guys have had, maybe more so just kind of as, I guess it was Hank Stram used to say, kind of matriculating the ball down.
Yeah, they have that ability. Against Gate City, against Gate City, they had 2 explosives. So I think, 17, 0, they're not bad receivers, whatever. They had a couple explosives, which I think, 65, 70-yard throws. I don't think that's like their identity. They're not going to thrive in that. But like you've said, it's kind of more of a gun, ball control. Let your big offensive line lean on people. Use 3 running backs and kind of roll those guys in and out so nobody gets tired. And that's an effective way to win football games.
Defensively, obviously, you talked about Oak Ridge's offense, and you've got the ability to run. You've got short plays. You've got big play capabilities. What's the biggest challenge that their defense is going to present, do you anticipate?
I mean, I think defensively, they got a really, really good defensive end. They got a really good their outside linebacker. They probably have 4 or 5 kids that are like, your 6'1", 210, 15-pound type, kind of built size high school player bodies. So they do a good job stopping the run. They kind of have some experience in the secondary. They're not out of position. Like, I told the guys Monday, hey, the game Friday was easy. Like, we throw a bubble out there and you make 2 moves and just run and go score. Like, DB's going to be in position. Now, we want to have the same mentality. Don't get me wrong. We want to get out there and make some plays. But I think the resistance, Alex, they're obviously a traditional 6A playoff team that leads the overall series 23-22. like DB and Oak Ridge, I mean, it's not like they're blowout type games. So I think, our fans are used to that, but they do a good job not making mistakes on defense. So, like, all three of their games have been like 26-20, 21-7, 28-20. It's kind of been that, I mean, just close, 3-2 touchdown margin, 1 touchdown margin game.
Whether it's the uniforms, the colors, kind of almost being sister cities with Eastman and the stuff that goes up on there. There's a lot of history between the two schools in basketball and football. I think David Clary on the broadcast a couple weeks ago at Clinton, I think it was a trivia question at halftime. I think outside of Clinton, I think Dobbins Bennett was maybe the second most played opponent. So clearly there's history there. I don't need to tell you about that. I don't need to tell anybody watching that. But I will say we got about a minute left. Weather has been phenomenal all week. So I shouldn't have to do this, and I don't think I do. But if there's anybody that's teetering on the edge going, maybe I'll stay at home. I don't know if I want to watch it. Here's your chance. You got about 60 seconds, Coach.
Well, number one, I thought we had a wild crowd against Halls. We opened the season up. Visitor side was packed. Home side was packed. I think that matters. So, like, if you're on the fence or go. Let's support our young men. We're 3-0. Obviously, it's DB. It's a big game. They're going to travel well. Their fans expect to come to Oak Ridge. So I'm sure, I don't know if they bring their band to away game. I'm not familiar with their road game operation, but I know historically they've had this phenomenal huge band up there. But it's going to be rowdy, and I think it's going to be a fun environment, great environment for high school. Pack the ship, pack Blankenship, get out there, be loud, be proud. Let's have a great night Friday.
Coach Rang, for David Clary, for Chandler Jones and Brad Jones, for Mark and Shauna Haste. We appreciate you guys, all you do. We hope you get well soon. We can't wait to see you Friday. Can't wait to see you on Friday night at Blankenship. For David Clary and all those mentioned, I'm Alex Myers. This is Crunch Time with Coach Derek Rang. Go Wildcats.
Down the middle, there's the man. Boom! Oh, what a lick. That man is being scored. Fullback, up the middle he goes 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Scott Fisher, 45, 50, 45, 40. Fisher, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Scott Fisher has just gone 98 yards for an Oak Ridge touchdown. I can't deal it, so unfair. And it feels like having someone away. Third and 6. Here comes Oak Ridge. It's almost a sack. A screen pass intercepted by Warrendine. To the 30, to the 35, to the 30, to the 25, to the 20. Michael Warrendine down to the 15-yard line. Porter under center from the 4. He rolls to his right. Backside pressure. Passes complete. Touchdown, Oak Ridge! Booker scores! Booker scores! Booker scores! 12 seconds to play. Pandemonium reigns at Blankenship Field. Single receiver to the right, that's Brett Bell. Coverage on him by Kiki Houston. Up to the line will come Jefferson County. 3rd and 11. Bryant firing down the way, intercepted by Kiki. Kiki at the 15 with a full blockers in front. 30, cuts across the field to the 35. Kiki Houston to the 40, to the 45, to the 50. There he goes, running for a touchdown. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown, Kiki Houston. What a return by Kiki for the second consecutive week. Kiki Houston returns it for a score. Great play, Oak Ridge.
First down, 10 yards to go. Dozier 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. He's in the end zone. I spoke too soon. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. The Jobus Dozier takes it in, and the Wildcats up their lead to 27-3 with exactly 9:39 to play.
Mike Ray under center, Sisk, and Mohannon, 2nd down, 7. And here's Ray wanting to pass. There's McCadley. He makes the catch to the 40, to the 45, 50, 40, 35, 25, 20, 15 yards. Woods with approximately 59.4 seconds to play, and Oak Ridge leads 22-0. On the line for the Wildcats. Robbie Knight hands it off to Ogletree. Blasted in the backfield. Loses 5 yards. The Wildcats come in strong, and they drop him for a big loss. Greg Woodson. Going to the extra point with Greg Johnson. The hold will be Billy King. 42-41. Oak Ridge on top of Central, and let's see what the Wildcats can do with the kick. Here's a low snap. Here's the kick. It's a block. Oak Ridge is headed to the state championship ball game at Vanderbilt on a block extra point. 42-41. And Oak Ridge, pandemonium reigns on the field. The Wildcats are headed to Vanderbilt. A block extra point. Oak Ridge celebrating. Pandemonium stands on the field. The block kick and Central's season will end on their home field. And Oak Ridge will go to Vanderbilt.